All right, welcome back to Lax Rats TV. This is the PLL Week 2 preview. The games this weekend are down in Carolina. They've got a pretty good fan base down there for Carolina. There's been a lot of pro lacrosse that's ran through Charlotte through the years between both the PLL and the NLL. So we will see. Let's get right into it, though. First game of the weekend, Denver versus Carolina. A couple things to watch. The goalie situation for Denver. I'm a little curious, obviously. There's 8 teams in the PLL. Top 8 goalies in the world, logically, are probably going to be the starters for those 8 teams. The bar to be a PLL goalie is so insanely high because there's so few of them. It's tough to settle for a goalie that's below 50%. No hate to McElroy, but could we see a McEnany start? I think it's really plausible. The core of the league is rookies. The core of the league is really young guys, first year, second year, third year guys. They're the guys that are filling out these rosters. I feel like it's a great. I feel like there's a really good chance that we see a McEnany start, and I would love if it's not this week that we see a start somewhere in the future. The Carolina defense, obviously, huge performance in week 1 against the Atlas. It's the heart and soul of their team is their defense. It's Blaze and it's all the vets there between Rowlett, Newman. They've got the young guy Posey too, but that's the heart and soul of the team. Can they continue to dominate matchups like they did against New York? Obviously, they're playing the Tewaaraton trio at attack. I assume Bernhardt's not playing this weekend. We'll see. I honestly don't know exactly how that works getting into the PLL. So we'll see if Bernhardt's playing this weekend. That would be so fun to watch, but who knows? But we'll see if the Chaos defense can dominate matchups like they did against New York. Obviously, there's a lot of big time covers here. Like first that comes to mind is O'Neal. Might be the hardest one-on-one cover in the league. So we'll see. Carolina offense, obviously not their strong suit. I wouldn't say they impressed in week 1. It seems like a gritty group of guys that's going to try to get the job done week in and week out. The Denver defense also wasn't, a focal point of that game last week against California. I don't think that they were outstanding, but we'll see. I think my prediction for this game, Carolina Chaos. I think ultimately the Carolina defense is going to be able to lock down the Denver O to some extent. I don't think that I can't see Denver, racking up goals against this team. In last week, Denver relied a lot on, winning one-on-one matchups and, taking some of those tougher shots and their team that can hit those tougher shots. Except with a defense like this, led by Blaze in net, I just don't see a lot of those shots going in. And I think Carolina's going to pull this one out for the first one of the season at home. Should be a big one. Next game of the weekend, Philly versus Maryland. Things to watch. Philly debut. As a Boston guy, I can't say I love Philly. I don't love Philly at all. This roster, though, the Water Dogs roster, fun. You got Sowers, McCardle, Taylor, Courier, Hanna, Kelly, McConvey. It's just a fun roster. I love this roster. Obviously, you see, Coach Tierney, he's been out there talking about last season, a lot of 1-goal losses. Tough start to the season for the squad. If they turn a couple of those 1-goal losses into 1-goal wins, obviously the entire season has a totally different tone to it. But we'll see if they can do that here. They've got a couple good roster ads, but we'll see. I mean, we saw a lot of week 1 woes last weekend. That was the theme of the weekend. Can Philly come out of the gates hot? They've got a lot of they're returning a lot of the same roster, even though they do have some new faces in there. So I don't expect them to be super discombobulated or anything. They've got some vets, some guys that have played pro for years and years. But Maryland's a week ahead, which I think in the PLL they don't get to practice as much as like other pro leagues that you hear about. So I think that week advantage that Maryland has, having played last weekend, is going to be big for them. I am curious to see the goalie situation again for Maryland. I love Krebs. It's the same combo as we had with McElroy and McEnany. Is there a chance that Emmett Carroll gets the start? I wonder what Stagnita is thinking about that. I wonder if that's a position battle that's going on. Or I don't know. I would love to see I would love to see them give Carroll a shot. But we'll see. I think my pick for this one, Maryland being a week ahead, I think is just going to be more dialed in between the lines. Subbing, shot clock awareness, all that stuff. Face-off unit, 32-second shot clock, all that stuff. I just think that the weak advantage is really big in this league. So I think the Maryland Whips are going to take this one. Game 3, Utah versus Boston on ABC. Game of the week. This is the game of the week. No doubt. Top 2 teams in the Lax Rats TV power rankings. There's heavyweight matchups all over the field. Some of the best in the world playing against each other in this game. You got 2 of the best goalies coming off of 6 season openers. You've got just 2 of the most cohesive and experienced teams together. These teams not a lot of faces coming in and out in the last year. They're teams that look pretty similar to last year. They've had a lot of time to build together. So I think that this is just going to be a great lacrosse game, honestly. One matchup to watch, Nolting versus Hossack. This is the mother of all matchups right here. You have two of the most physical players in the league, one offense, one defense. These guys are going to be going at it all game, I would imagine. So the Cannons offense, a lot of it feels as though initially they were coming with middies out of the box with guys like Campbell and McKelly now. Like you have those big downhill dodgers, like last year was like Islandi and stuff like that. You got big downhill dodgers. If those dodgers get smoked out, I feel like the ball finds its way to Nolting and he tries to make something happen, drawing doubles, drawing triples with his physicality, and then feeding to some of the best shooters in the game with you got like Holman on the right wing. So I imagine that this matchup, a lot of it's going to be determined by this Nolting Hossack matchup. I think Utah, this defense has played a lot together. They have maybe the best E-mini crew in the game. They're really cohesive. I just see him being able to smoke out a lot more of these, initiating dodges from up top than a lot of other teams. And I think the ball is going to find its way to Nolting, and this matchup is going to be something that we have to watch all game. Ultimately, it's going to, Nolting versus Hossack, whoever dominates this matchup more is going to, it's going to be a big determining factor into how many goals Boston can put up this game. Last thing I want to say, McAsee debut. Obviously, a little biased. I'm a huge C-Mac fan. But I cannot wait to see Coulter in this league. I think it's built for guys like him. I cannot wait to see him shooting on the wing. If the ball's running through, Nolting all game, I see the wing shooters getting involved a lot. So, Coulter with his feet set. Kark says he's got the smoothest stroke in college lax. Obviously, he's not in college anymore. I think he might have one of the smoothest strokes in the world. So I cannot wait to see him, to see the ball find its way to Coulter. I'm just seeing Nolting double team, skip to Coulter, like top right, bottom left. That's what I'm seeing. So we'll see if that pans out. We'll also see what they do with Manny. I'm a little curious there. Like, I don't see Manny coming out of the midfield, but like, who knows? Like, I don't know what they're going to do here. Are they going to sit Manny this week and give Coulter his shot? Or I have no idea. They could play Coulter out of the midfield. I don't know. We'll see. But my pick for this one, who other than the Boston Cannons, obviously. Last game of the week, California versus Carolina. Carolina's second game of the weekend. Things to watch. Speed. This might be the fastest team in California versus the slowest team in Carolina. Can Carolina keep up with them, especially because they're coming off of this doubleheader weekend? This is their second game of the weekend. I'm not sure they're going to be able to keep up, especially, you're talking about Erlin versus Rowlett at the dot. Erlin's one of the best in the world. I would expect him to win this matchup. And if he's dominating this matchup, it's going to be really tough for Carolina to control the pace of this one. I just see them winning faceoffs and just pushing the ball, jamming it down Carolina's throat. Carolina's defense is chock full of vets and studs, anchored by Blaze, like we talked about earlier. But second game of the weekend, with the speed of California too, they're going to be fresh. I think this is a really tough matchup for Carolina. I see California winning this one. I just can't see Carolina winning this one, but we'll see. One more thing I'm thinking about is I don't know what's going on with the Canadians, but I just cannot wait to see Sammy English suiting up for the Redwoods. I think he fits this team perfectly. I mean, like when we played him a couple weeks ago at Cuse, the kid didn't come out of the game. Like obviously, I played with him for a couple years at Princeton. The dude's just an athletic freak. He's going to be playing offense, defense, taking away. He's going to be doing everything for the Redwoods. And I think he's going to be doing it all at a really high level and really fast. So I cannot wait to see when the Canadians start getting involved. Like there's other guys I want to see. Like I can't wait to see Hiltz. I think he can do big things for Carolina's offense. But we'll see. I do think California is going to run away with this one, whether or not the Canadian rookies get their shot at it this week. But we will see. So picks of the weekend: Carolina to beat Denver in Game 1, Maryland to beat Philadelphia in Game 2, Boston to beat Utah in Game 3, and then Carolina losing to California in their doubleheader to cap off the weekend. So, that is the PLL Week 2 preview. Thanks for tuning in to Lax Rats TV, and we'll catch you next week.